Hey, it's Mr. Tush over at Global. This is your Magic 8 Ball project. And Magic 8 Ball is a toy, dates back to I think 1950 or 1951. And it was shaped like an 8 ball from a pool game. It had a little window at the bottom. And what would happen is you'd pick up the toy and you'd shake it. And this little die would shake around and some fluid that was inside there would float up to the window and it would give you an answer. You had to ask a yes or no question. And it would give you one of 20 random answers. So I'll reset it using my flag. And I'll click on it. It will shake, and then it will give me a answer. Concentrate and ask again. Of course, I didn't ask any questions, so I'll say, will it be a sunny day today? Outlook not so good. Looks like I got some weather issues. Now tell me, am I going to have decent coffee this morning? And I'll send it again. I'm not going to have good coffee either. And sometimes it does pick the same thing again and again. That does happen. Now, it did happen with the regular Magic 8 Balls too. Now, here's the deal. You've got a starter file. Starter file has the sprite set up, and you have your sprite with all the random answers. If you look, you have costumes all along here, and these costumes give you all the different answers. You also have the ability to reprogram it by duplicating it. So I want you to go in there and feel free to duplicate these costumes by clicking duplicate and giving it some new answers. You could definitely get as many costumes as you wanted to make this thing work. You are going to need to also work with a variable, so be aware that you're going to have to make a variable called fortune that's already in there, but you're going to have to set that variable up with a value. So we're going to take care of that. Now, how do you get a variable to do things for you? Well, I'm going to show you in a little demo. Now, I'm not going to do the variable for the game, but I am going to do a variable for my little cat that works the same way. I've given you this cat, and this is just a demonstration. You don't have to do this, but I want to show you how this works. This cat has 5 different costumes. If you look, it's this costume, this costume, this costume, this costume, and that costume. So it's got 5 random costumes. And I'm going to set up here, I'm going to go to my variable. I'm going to make a variable called costume. And I'm going to go click it. I'm going to set it for a value of 5. Why am I setting it for a value of 5? 5, sorry, there we go. I'm setting it for a value of 5 because I have costume 1, costume 2, costume 3, costume 4, costume 5. And then I'm going to simply make it so that when this sprite is clicked, let me get my regular costume so I can see it. When this sprite is clicked, it's going to randomly choose one of those costumes. And here's how I'm going to do it. I've got my sprite clicked. I'm going over to events. I'm going to click when this sprite clicked. I'm going to have it switch costumes using if-then statements. So I'm going to have it say if costume, and I'm going to use my equals. So if, let me make this a little larger so you can see it. It's wrong direction, silly. When the sprite clicked, look at the variable. Costume equals 1, then I'm going to switch costume to costume 1. Duplicate it. The costume is 2, 12, 2. Switch to costume 2. Make this just a little smaller so I can fit everything. If costume is 3, I'm going to switch to costume 3. Costume is 4. Switch to costume 4. And slide this up for making more room. Duplicate, switch costume 5. Then I'll switch to costume 5. Now what will happen is, every time I click on it, it'll change costumes each time. Now, right now, it's just switching 5. It switched through all of them. What I didn't do was I didn't switch a different costume. So, when it's, I'm going to go to my variable, and I'm going to change my variable costume, not change, sorry, set my variable costume to pick random from 1 to 5. Then If it's 1, give me costume 1. If it's 2, give me costume 2. So every time I click it, it's going to randomly pick a number. And that's how I'm going to get it to randomly work. I set it to pick a random number from 1 to 5, and then based on the number it picks, it gives me the costume that I want. Just so you know, you are going to do the same thing with this sprite. Set up a costume variable that says fortune, and then have it pick a random number. And once it picks that random number, if it picks 1, it goes to costume 1. If it picks 2, go to costume 2. And you can use duplicate to run that out. That should get you going. Here's some success tips. When you play this, 1, write pseudocode. If you have pseudocode in your hand, I will answer any questions you have. If you don't, I'm going to direct you to write the pseudocode first. You have to think this through before you start randomly poking blocks around the screen. You're going to need 2 sets of code. One is to set up the shake, and I haven't talked you through shake, but you should know how to do it. The shake will work with this when it's clicked, and it's definitely going to use motion gliding to and from in very short order, and you're going to have it go back and forth and then stop. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have to use a variable, and that's going to need at least 21, maybe more. You are going to have to use broadcast messages on when this sprite clicked to execute the shake and to execute the show. And you're going to need to use a select random number operator for the variable. All of that stuff you're going to have to do looking at my hint. So realize it's a little bit of a challenge, but you've got the ability using these success tips and good pseudocode to program this entire project. Wishing you the best of luck, and thanks for watching.